Morning, Rosie.
Good morning. Let's see who's that. Joanne, how are you today?
I'm good. Did you have a good Mother's Day?
I did. How about you?
It was lovely. It was beautiful.
Oh my gosh, it was. It got cold.
I know. I've been schlepping my basil plants like in and out of the garage.
Yeah, so we've decided we'll leave these in tonight. I think tonight it's getting to 42 or something.
Yeah.
And then hopefully tomorrow out and they stay out. Is that what you're doing?
Yes. I'm getting tired of babying these things that cost me $3 a piece, you know?
It's so funny. Well, some of mine are big old Florida plants and things like that. So
Nice.
I think some of them would be pretty sensitive. So I'm definitely going to keep them in. I'm not going to take a chance, but I also have some little baby ones that I actually did leave outside. Actually, I need to look at them. Yesterday or day before, I pulled up about 50 maple saplings, but I left them outside. I guess they're okay because they're used to being here, huh?
Yeah. Oh, and we used to have that happen in Massachusetts all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So they seem good. I'm glad to see you, Joanne. Thanks for being here.
Good to be here. Hello, everybody else. I'm going to
Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Suzanne. How are you today?
I'm good. Good morning, Yogi. Glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad you're here too. I appreciate it. Feels good to know that there's people out there in virtual land.
You know, I'm paraphrasing it, but in addition to what you've been talking about, the way we perceive things, Ruth said yesterday said something that really hit me, and I'm paraphrasing it, so maybe Joanne will have to fix it. But her expression was muting the quotations of our words.
Muting the quotations of our words. Wow.
I thought, yeah, I mean, how many times have I used the 4-letter word what? But by changing the quotations at the end, whether it's an exclamation or a question, it covers a lot of things, and I have to be careful which one I choose.
That's a great quote. Thank you for sharing that. Hope it's okay.
Yeah, I wrote it down, but it's not in front of me, so I'm paraphrasing it. But anyway, you get the gist.
I do, and I feel the same way. I have to have everything written down in front of me. Sometimes it doesn't come out right.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Suzanne. Friends, we still have a few minutes, but we'll be using 2 blocks today. So if you need to go grab a couple blocks or books or whatever you use, get them ready.
Okay, I went to get it.
What does it say?
Well, as I said, I paraphrased it.
Right.
Quieting the punctuations of the mind.
Okay. But you were right on. Punctuations, quotations, and muting and quieting.
Yeah.
Quieting the punctuations of the mind.
Yeah.
Wow, I like that very much.
Yeah. All right,
Let's
thanks.
write it down. Thank you, Suzanne. Morning, Michael.
Hi, Rosie. Good morning.
How are you today?
Good, good. And you?
Happy to see you there.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Cheryl. You look as if you're outside.
I am.
Oh, beautiful. Looks like a beautiful day. You've already got more sunshine than I do. Oh, where are you?
At the coast.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy to be with everybody. Thank you for teaching us today, Rosie. Hello,
Wow.
all my yogi friends. I'm muting now.
Okay, Cheryl, thanks for being here with that beautiful picture. Well, that's kind of cool that we can be in different places and still take class. Lots of benefits of this online stuff. As I said earlier, we'll be using 2 blocks. Be sure to grab something, particularly if you use them when we twist and dip down like that. It'll be helpful to have something to lift the floor. So I will say my official good morning now. And just one more time, in case you've just joined in, we'll be using a couple of blocks. Last week, we talked about the Brahma Viharas. These are divine dwelling places in your soul, your mind. And the Buddha tells us that this is a place of goodness where we want to be. So we want to have metta, which is loving kindness. We want to practice karuna, which is compassion. Mudita, which is joy for others. And upeksha, or it's pronounced upeka in the Pali, which is the language that ancient Buddha scriptures were written in. So we want to be able, and that's equanimity, excuse me. We want to be able to have these as part of our life. So as we move on now, Sylvia Borstein's taking us into the 6th step of the Noble 8-Foot Path by the Buddha. And that is wise effort. Wise effort is deliberately shifting the mind's attention so that equanimity can be reestablished. And remember now, we do this and through concentration so that we can kind of clear the path in order to see the wisdom that we already have inside of us. Let's sit in a position with our legs a little bit wider. And if this is available to you, try it. We take the fingers and we interlace between the toes. And if that's not happening, maybe you make a modification by just doing every other toe. And if it's still not happening, just rest the hands wherever they lay comfortably. We'll move into some cat-cows here. As you inhale, pull the toes back, lift the spine, open up, and maybe even look up. And then as you exhale, pull the belly in, let the feet come to flat, even tuck the chin. 2 more like that. Big inhale, pull toes back, lift up. Exhale, feet lower, chin lowers, belly pulls in. 1 more. Open up broad. And then let it go. Now keep your feet as they are, and we'll just move the body this time. The spine is going to have a little more movement here. As you inhale, rock the pelvis forward, lift the heart, look up. And as you exhale, tucking around. So feet are staying flat this time, but still keep the fingers interlaced if you can. Inhale to broaden, staying right on the sitting bones. Then exhale, round it out. 1 more like that. Inhale, expand. And exhale, round. All right, release the fingers if you had them interlaced. And let's come into a position of sitting on the toes like this. Toes are tucked underneath, and then hips are resting right on the heels. If you need to put a blanket between your knees right here, try that. And maybe even something underneath the ankles. Wherever you are, find a place that's relatively comfortable. Know that we're bearing weight into those toes, and you'll feel it in a few moments. From here, interlace right thumb on top. Pop the palms towards your screen, and we'll do cat-cows here. Inhale, expand by pulling the shoulders back. Exhale, pull forward as you pull the belly in, tuck and round. 2 more. Inhale, expand. Exhale, round. And again, inhale, broaden. Exhale, pull the belly in. Find your neutral spine as you lift the arms up, palms facing towards the sky. Big inhale here to lift. And on the exhale, stretch to the right. Be mindful of twisting. We're trying to isolate the whole left side. Keep the weight in both heels. Another breath. Then inhale, lift right back up. We'll release the hands behind us, right thumb on top, interlace. Roll shoulders up and back and expand. Find a nice, big, broad chest, all the front side. You can let the head go back a little bit. Just pay attention. Pull the belly in. And now here we'll be very mindful so that we don't face plant in this next pose. Hinging forward. So right now the weight is still on my hips, my heels, but there will come a point, and for me it's right about here, where the weight lifts up and I get a little bit of imbalance. Pull the belly in, move mindfully, keep the back nice and arched as long as you can. You have to watch because your toes will want to lift up and you'll face plant. And finding a place where finally you can release the chin, head touches the floor, and then play with the idea of lifting the arms very, very carefully. So we don't want to just unmindfully lift the arms away. You have to listen to your shoulders. Find that clearness in your mind so you can hear the wisdom as to whether or not it's okay for you to go deeper in this pose. 1 more breath. Maybe the hips come up a little bit. Coming back up. Think of arching the spine, leading with the chest. Lift back up. Release the arms. Come up to kneeling and let the toes go so they're nice and flat. Hands come to the hips. It's a tiny little camel pose. Roll the shoulders up and back, pull the belly in, and just gently push the hips forward at the same time. Fingertips are reminding us to push down so that the tailbone somewhat lengthens as we push the hips forward. Pull the belly in again. Come back up and we'll do side 2. Tucking the toes under, release back down, left thumb on top, palms forward. Inhale, expand by pulling the shoulders back. Exhale, reach forward as you suck the belly in and drop the chin. Inhale, expand. Exhale, reach. And another one, take it back. And bow it out. Neutral spine as we come back up. Big inhale here. And on the out breath, bow to your left. Again, watch the hips because I know I can feel mine pushing to the right. I want to keep everything nice and stable. Watch the shoulders so they're not twisting. Keep belly strong. And make your way back up, releasing hands behind. This time left thumb on top. Shrug shoulders up and back. Expand the front side. Open up. And then again, very mindfully, we start to hinge forward. So you can see in a pose like this why it's important to have equanimity, to have a place where we can see and hear clearly, because if I just plowed into this pose without paying attention, I'd risk falling straight on my face. I'm at the point now where it's getting a little bit shaky, so I'm gonna lower down, tuck the chin, let my head rest on the floor, and then start to lift the arms away from the back if that's okay. And if it's not, I'll just stay right where I am. Taking another breath. And then we mindfully come back up. So we release the chin, the slight arch in the back as we lead with the chest. Coming all the way up. Nice start. Let's release everything and come on to all fours. Let the feet go and do a little shaky there so that you can bring some blood back into the toes. Should feel good. All right. I'll retuck the toes, lift up, downward facing dog. Nice big stretch here. Come forward into plank pose. Bend the knees or not. Lower chaturanga. Inhale for cobra or up dog if you're already ready. And then come back onto all fours. From here, leaving the feet down, so not tucking the toes. Let's just lift the knees an inch off the floor. And here we'll do cat-cows again. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. Now watch out when you contract, your knees want to lift up or lower. Try to keep them 1 inch. Inhale. And then exhale, round. And take one more. Inhale, expand. And then exhale, contract. Be mindful how you tuck the toes here. Lift back up, downward facing dog. Shoot forward into plank pose again with knees or not. Lower chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Big, deep ujjayi breaths here. So there's 4 steps that we would take to ensure that we move into a place of wise effort. The first part is to think about the peaceful, calm, compassionate places in your mind. And when you notice them, make a commitment to keep them in your mind. So when you feel or see yourself act in a place of loving kindness, compassion, any of those good things, be aware of it and then try to make it so that you keep that in your essence. Bend your knees, look forward, step or hop it up, come up halfway. Exhale, release forward. Inhale, standing. Arms come with you. Super big stretch at the top. We'll keep moving. Strong belly as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or hop it back straight through to chaturanga, or maybe you hang out in plank. Up dog, cobra, and downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Right leg to the outside of the right hand. Take a nice big twist to the right. Open up. Now imagine that your right hand is going to come right behind you and touch the floor. So it's that big of a stretch. Always checking in the left shoulder. We want to make sure that's a safe place. And then come up over the right ear as if you were going to touch your fingertips on the left side. We'll do that 2 more times. Stretch as if you were coming behind you. Over the head to the fingertips. One more like that. Big stretch. And fingertips. Now dip it back down to center. Step the right leg back. Lower chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. And downward facing. Inhale. Exhale. Left leg outside of left hand. Twisting left. Taking left hand as if it were going to touch right behind you. And then come over the ear as if you were going to touch the right fingertips. Come back open to the left. Pay attention to that right shoulder. Don't let it sag. Arm over the head as if to touch the fingertips. One more. Big twist to the left. And then come over the head, touching fingertips, dip the left shoulder, come right back to plank position, lower chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing, back to ujjayi breath. The second part of the path is to notice the absence of those wholesome states of compassion, kindness. And when you notice that, try to bring them in. Try to become that compassionate, kind person. So first we notice when we have that, and we try to keep that. Notice when we don't have it, and we try to call those qualities in. Bend your knees, look forward, step or hop it up. Come up halfway. Exhale, release forward. Inhale to standing, arms with you, nice big stretch. Let's do one more. Pull your belly in, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or hop it back, straight through, or hang out in a place that's good for you. Up dog or cobra. and downward facing dog. Big breath, in and out. Our left leg comes forward, high lunge position. If you can, let the palms meet at the top. And we'll do little tiny lunges here. Up, down, up, down. One more up, down. As you come up this time, circle the right ankle over, draw the hands to heart center. Squat down a little bit, hinge forward. We move into this kind of floating leg on the right side, and this is going to be important for later. So floating the leg, if you have to touch down, touch down. And now send it back, standing splits. Float as long as you can. Hands eventually touch the floor. Nice stretch. Now for your descent, you might just step it back, but if you want to try hopping back on the left leg, straight into chaturanga, you can try that. It'll be trianga. Lift your beautiful heart, one-legged up dog or cobra. Come back, one-legged dog, right leg lifts. And then replace, down dog. Inhale and exhale. Same thing, right side. Right leg comes forward, interlace fingers, lift up for high lunge position. And we'll just do 3 little dippy squats. So drop down, lift up, drop down, lift up, drop down, lift up. This time hands to heart, circle left ankle around, squat a little bit, hinge. Now think of floating left leg. So we lift, find that floating action, start sending the leg back, thinking standing splits. Go nice and mindfully with or without the hands. Eventually hands touch the floor. Nice stretch. Step or hop it back on the right leg or both legs. Lower. Lift your heart, maybe one-legged, left leg would be up. Then come back up. One-legged dog, lift it up, left leg. Now replace the leg, downward facing dog. Nice deep breath. The third step, if you will, is to notice the absence of things like anger, greed, resentment. Make a vow to keep those out. Bend your knees, look forward, step or hop it up. Come up halfway, exhale, release forward, and then inhale up to standing. We'll take arms with us, interlacing right thumb on top, pop the palms up, find a nice big stretch. All right, leg comes up for tree pose. If you need to use your hands, go ahead and release the hand, but find the place that's perfect for you. Pull the belly in, find the slightest lengthening in the tailbone, and then watch for this kind of droopiness here. When it feels as if the left leg is our rooting leg, it is, and we lift up as tall as we can. Inhale, palms facing up. As you exhale, bow to the right. Again, watching for twisting shoulders, trying to keep one line. Come on back to center. Release the hands, they'll come behind us. If you can, reverse prayer. If not, opposite elbow, or just rest the hands at the hips, that's fine too. One more nice big breath here. Maybe opening up into a little bit of a back bend. And now let's take the hands forward as we cross the right leg in front of the knee on the left side. Hinge forward, extend long. One more big breath, we're not staying super long. As you come up, peace fingers to the big toe on the right side, or maybe you're taking knee. Extending if you're extending. Leg out to the right, maybe drishti to the left. Come on back. Let the hands go, let the leg go. Point the toe, lift the leg, and release. Shake it out. You'll be happy to take the left leg up for tree pose after that. Inhale, lift up, left thumb on top. Pivot the palms up. Again, if you need the hand to draw the left leg up, go ahead and take it. Watch for droopy hip, lifting up out of the right hip, lift. And on the out breath, bow left. Try to pay attention to shoulders. We want to make sure they're not twisting. Come on back to center, hands reach behind, reverse prayer if possible, otherwise take a different place. Open up, maybe adding a little back bend. Draw hands center this time. Crossing left ankle, find a little squat, hinge. Again, we won't stay too long. It's a lot for that right leg. As you come back up, either peace fingers to the big toe on the left side, or maybe it's knee. Wherever you are, it's good, extending or not. Leg out to the left, maybe drishti to the right. Make sure to lift up in that standing leg. Leg comes forward, let it go. Hollow the belly, lift the leg, and release, shake it out. Inhale, lift, strong belly, exhale, forward fold. We'll hold right here. From here, separate the feet a tiny bit, come up halfway, peace fingers to the big toes, exhale, hinge forward. If your peace fingers don't reach the big toes, stop along the way. See if you can shift your hips forward so that we take the hips from behind the heels to right above. And so what I mean, if your peace fingers don't reach the toes, just stop at the ankles or the knees or anywhere. Now come up halfway, nice flat spine. Lift the toes, insert the palms underneath. Exhale, forward fold. Again, if that's not happening, bend your knees a lot and see if you can drop the head down. Another version, you can just invert the wrists at the shins or maybe on your blocks, but just find something nice for your wrists. Shake your head. Now releasing, we come up halfway, step or hop it back straight through to chaturanga if you're hopping, but if you're stepping back, maybe you're holding plank, dropping to knees, all are good. Lift your beautiful heart up, dog or cobra, and come into downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. All right, let's take the right leg up, stack the hips, bend the knee, lift the head looking over left shoulder. So if you flip, go ahead and flip. If you side plank, take side plank, or just stay where you are. And if none of this is good, be sure that you're working on clearing your mind to hear that and come into something else. Wherever you are, come on back, downward facing dog. Hinge forward into plank. Pay attention to shoulders as we drop the right forearm down and then the left forearm, forearm plank. Right forearm up, left up. We'll do that 2 more times. Right down, left down. Right up, left up. Once more. Right down, left down, right up, left up. Nice. Back to downward facing dog. Right leg lifts, pass it between your hands. Come up high lunge position. Again, if you can take what I call diamond hands, lift up, find a nice squat, and then maybe you want to shallow this a little tiny bit as we come back into our dips. Lowering left knee down and lift up. Left knee down and lift up. One more time. Left knee down. Now come up to just hovering here. Take your hands to cactus. Come high on the right toes. So the left knee is hovering down, high on the right toes. Cat-cows. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. One more, big broad opening. And exhale, drawing the heel back down, coming up for your regular crescent lunge. So maybe it's a little longer stride now. Dipping down on the left side a little bit. Inhale, lift. Exhale, prayer twist right. Now pull the right hip crease back. Move into a place that feels really good, but at the same time, you know you're establishing the connection with the left arm and the right leg. All right, here's where we're going to do those little floaty things. So normally, when we do these, we either slide or step the left leg forward. Today, we're going to try to do this in a floating action. You come forward, left leg floats. Step it back without touching. Forward floating. Back without touching. Forward float and hold. Now step it down and find your revolved chair pose. You may have to pull the left knee forward, which means it's the left hip, and sink a little bit more. Big breaths here. You can stay. Maybe you release the arms, or maybe you come into Parsva-Bakasana. Play with something that feels good to you for the next breath or two. And those of us who are holding it, we're working hard too, because that right leg, that right hip hasn't gotten any break at all. All right, wherever you are, unfurl. We meet back here. Lift all the way up, hands to heart. Cross the right ankle, so we get a little break here. Here's where you may want your blocks. We're gonna move into a nice stretch and add Eka Pada Galabasana if you wanna do it. So, I'm all out of breath. So we come up, right ankle over left knee. Now just squat down. That should feel good, stretching that right hip. If you're hinging forward, maybe hands to the blocks and you just hang out like this and find that nice place in the right hip. Now, if you're moving on, you want to find the Galabasana grip, which is the right toes are hugging around high up on the arm. So you need to get a little bit lower and hug those toes around. I don't recommend lifting in Galabasana on the blocks. So if you're still new to it, maybe take your block, place it where the left shin will come forward and rest on the block. So this is a nice place to hang out. Eventually, you would learn to lift up, off. All right? So those of you who are doing the regular Galabasana, go ahead. The rest of us are stretching. So the Galabasana starts to look a little bit like this. You lift, and eventually the left leg comes up. Now find a place for everybody to step or hop it back, lower chaturanga. Lift your beautiful heart, and then come back, downward facing dog. Nice deep breath in and out. Take another one in and out. And then one more in and out. All right, let's go ahead and come back into downward facing dog. And we start left side. We drop left arm down, right arm down. Left arm up, right arm up. Left arm down, right arm down. Left arm up, right arm up. I think we did one more. Left arm down, right arm down. Left arm up, right arm up. Coming back into downward facing dog. Nice big stretch. Left leg lifts. Stack the hips, bend the knee. So I'm lifting head, looking over the right shoulder. Already, that may be enough for me, but if you're flipping, flip. If you're side planking, side plank. If you're staying, just stay. Another breath wherever you are. Come on back to neutral. All right, left leg lifts, we pass it through. Coming up, high lunge, diamond hands. But again, so I can already tell that I'm gonna be going way far back in my lunge. So I'll shorten up a little bit so I'm actually driving the right knee straight down. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Inhale, up, exhale, down. Inhale, up, exhale, down. Now come up just a little bit, hands to cactus, lift the left toe. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract, cat-cows. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Take one more broad opening. Nice, and then close it off. All right, releasing that, let's lift up so the heel comes back down and we find crescent lunge. Again, you may have to go a little bit longer to find the crescent lunge that you're used to. Pulling the belly in, lifting up. Exhale, prayer twist left. As you prayer twist, make sure you pull the left hip crease back and then push the leg into the arm so we have a sense of connection. And here we go. You don't have to float. You can just take the right leg forward like this for twisted chair. But if you're moving into floating, we float, send it back. Keep the leg floating. Float forward, twisted chair. Send the leg back, still floating. Now forward, twisted chair, hover and hold. Plant the foot, adjust accordingly to find your proper twisted chair to the left. May mean allowing the right hip to come forward a tiny bit. So we stay here, or maybe you expand your arms, or take your balancing pose, Parsvarabhakasana, to the left. Working with breath. Always help keep that mind clear, especially in chaotic moments. And I take the last one here. Unfurl, coming all the way up to standing, hands to the heart, Circle left ankle over and squat down. So right here, this just feels good for that left hip. Hinging forward, maybe you're staying right here. Maybe you take your blocks and let the hands rest on the blocks. Now, if you're going a little bit further, take the blocks lower so that we can actually curl the toes around the right upper arm. And this is perfect. Again, I don't really recommend lifting on the blocks like that. But if you want to go a little further and you're new to it, just place the block somewhere so that it would rest, the right shin will rest on it as you come forward. So you find that little place, and there you just practice curling the toes and maybe lifting up off the block a little bit. Extended leg people, lifting that right leg. Now let's all take it back, float it back, lower chaturanga, lift up, and come down, child's pose. Extended arms, find your soft breath, and see if you can bring the heart rate down by drawing in the breath nice and evenly. As the breath, so the mind, as the mind, so the breath. The fourth step in this wise effort process. All right, so the third one was to notice the absence of things like anger, greed, resentment, envy. And those are, by the way, the enemies, the near enemies of the Brahma Viharas, of the divine dwelling places. So if we have compassion and kindness, then the opposite of those, or the enemies, would be envy, anger, resentment. And we try to keep them out. So the fourth one is to notice the presence of those. So when you feel as if you're treating someone without compassion or in an angry way or resentful, notice that and eliminate it, okay? So finding this place of equanimity is very important. It's just enough effort to get where you're going in a safe way. Very similar to our physical practice, where we breathe in, we listen, and we try to use what's called viveka, or keen discernment, to determine if the truth is that we should go deeper in the pose or we should back it out. And that's the same thing with wise effort, just finding that even path. Probably why Goldilocks was such a popular book, popular story, because it's really just the middle path. That perfect little place. All right, last breath in child's pose. Make your way up to all fours, then tuck the toes, lift up, downward facing dog. Big breath in and out. All right, we'll start with a little animal flow. From here, we take the right leg up. I'm gonna go to the side so you can see it a little better. Right leg up. We come forward, knee to nose. Both the knee on the right side and the toes on the left, pivot left. Extend the right leg and lift your arm as you dip the hips. Come back, we'll do it again. Downward facing dog, one-legged. Forward, pivot left, extend, dip the hips as if to touch. One more time. From one-legged dog, forward, pivot left, dip. Come back up, knee to nose, tuck it in. Plant the foot. Warrior one. As always in Warrior one, let's work on the idea of dipping the right thigh down so that one day it becomes parallel to the floor. See if you can pull the right hip crease back, flip the palms open, pull the belly in, let the shoulders slide down. Inhale and exhale. One more, inhale and exhale. Coming up to straighter legs, moving into revolved triangle. So you'll have to shorten up a tiny bit likely. Taking the right hand to the hip, left arm is long, inhale here. And as you exhale, left hand to the floor, maybe it's on a block. It can be inside, it can be outside. Shin or floor are good too. Wherever you are, we try to even the hips and twist to the right. So we're allowing the right shoulder to stack on top of the left. Lift the right arm up, maybe look up to fingertips if that feels okay. Another big breath. All right, so if you're on a block, let's release the hand to the floor. That may mean bent legs. We're moving into split leg side plank.
toes to the right. So left hand firmly planted. Now pivot both toes, walk the right leg away from you, and take the right arm over your ear to lift up. From here, inhale, lift. Exhale, dip, cross, bend, and lower. Inhale, up. Exhale, down, and take one more. Up and over. And back down. This time we stay down. So while you're down, do a little bit of shimmying around. We're trying to get the right hip to come down to the earth. Ankle and knee meet, Ardha Matsyendrasana. Hug the knee in, lift the spine, big inhale here. And on the out breath, twist right. Looking over the right shoulder. Keep pulling the breath in, keep pulling the knee in. Maybe some of you want to bind today, or maybe you want to go into a balancing pose here. So most of us will just stay here, finding that nice twist, working with the breath. If you're moving into the Kundalini, just think of it already as a twist. We're already kneeling on the left side. You can just cross down. Technically, it's only the left arm that is supporting us, but you can take the right elbow to the right hip, left elbow to the knee. If the hands splay open, that's okay for the purposes of this. We're just dipping down as if the right ear, we're going to touch the floor. Play with that for another breath as we pull in and then unfurl. Moving into Gomukhasana without the arms. So in Gomukhasana, we try to let the knees meet, all right? Take this off. And do a little bit of movement so that we can snuggle that right hip down. And this is a place where you may want your block, all right? So have the block handy. Inhale, lift. Exhale, start to walk forward. And as you walk forward, pay attention to that right hip. It's going to try to lift up. We want to keep it down, so you may have to push a little bit with the right hand to find that place. Inhale here. On the out breath, what does your wisdom voice tell you? Is it okay to keep deepening the pose, or should you be backing it out? So even if you're backing out, you still take the twist. We walk the hands to the right and be aware of that right hip. You want to push down into the right hip. Now, some of you out there I know well, and I know that you have the ability to take the right hand behind you and bind to the big toe of the right leg. So I'm already twisting. My body wants to twist. Keep doing that. Let it twist and then hinge forward some more. So this is where you may want to place the block down, flip the palm up, and let the arm rest on the block. As you twist, be aware of the collarbone here. If the collarbone is sinking in and creating this letter shape C, let the bind go and pull the right shoulder back as you twist. Keeping the right hip down, one more. And then release it. Coming back up. And we move into Agni Sambhasana. Right shin on top of left. If that's not happening today, maybe a block underneath, or you can always pull the feet in more like a half lotus or come into easy sitting. All right. Big inhale, lift. Exhale, walk forward. Again, making sure the sitting bones stay on the floor. Use the floor to resist. We push into the floor, and that helps us to establish a strong connection with the sitting bones. Nice deep breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Or maybe coming up a little bit to take our twist to the right, walking the body off towards the right side, making sure both sit bones stay on the floor. If you're able to, we find that same connection we did in our little prayer twist in lunge. We drop the elbow to the knee, hands come to prayer, and we twist open to the right. Working in a place for your body where the breath dictates with knowledge where you should go. So as you inhale, what is the message you're receiving? And as you exhale, follow through accordingly. Taking one more. And come on back. It should feel good by this point. Let's draw the legs in for either half lotus or full lotus. Have your blocks handy. Moving into 40 Kapalabhatis. You don't need the blocks. You can have the hands right here to lift up, but the blocks give you a little extra boost. The only thing about them is they take your hands wider, So see if you can draw them underneath a little bit. Everybody take a full inhale, a full exhale. Now half an inhale, push down to lift up and go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Lower down. Inhale and exhale. One more. Okay, releasing the legs, moving into reverse table. So we want to have our hands behind us, fingertips are looking forward, lift up. We're working the right glute here. So extend left leg long, don't let the arms bend, keep the thighs parallel as we lower hips and lift. We're doing 8 of them. 3, 2, sorry, almost gave you one up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, lift and lengthen, get the hips high and lower down. Extend both legs long, pull the toes back. Inhale, lift the shoulders. Exhale, peace, fingers to the big toes if they reach. And if not, just the same way we did in our standing pose, you stop along the way wherever that is. And wherever you are, inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, hinge forward. Finding nice balance here in the breath and the exhale. All right, come on back up. Right away, back into reverse table. Lift it up. Get the hips to come as high as you can here. Now this one, we keep working on our twist to the right. So first, before you start to move on, play with the idea of lifting the left hand. If that seems easy, okay, we know we're gonna move on. Right leg extends, left arm lifts. If you're okay, hand to head. Now watch for droopy hip. I'm gonna take a twist and look at my right hip. So that's no good. I want the hip way up. As I twist, keep lifting the hip and my elbow meets the knee. So lift right hip, twist, extend elbow to knee, one more, and release. Right leg stays long, coming down, hug the left knee in. Inhale here, and exhale. Twisting to the right again, reach for the pinky side of the right foot and twist open to the right. Nice deep breath. Staying as you are or lifting up, maybe you're lifting just the knee. So basically, this is dancing Shiva. We lift up, twisting to the right, extend right arm, drishtis towards the right fingertips. This is a very good practice for when we do this in standing so that you can get used to extending your drishti to your back hand. If it's super easy, see if you can let go and hold the shape. Release the leg, unfurl yourself, drop left leg down, Janu Shirshasana, pulling the toes back, inhale, lift, side shift to your right, exhale, hinge forward. Working with breath here, each inhale guiding you, each exhale moving accordingly. Again, inhale and exhale. All right, coming up, we cross the right ankle, gently encouraging the left knee, that's the left ankle, the left knee away from us, pulling the right toes back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hinge. Just holding for one breath here. And then we make our twist to the right. See if you can take the elbow on the left side and put it into the sole of the foot and twist open. Again, we watch for this kind of collapsing place in the collarbone, the chest area, and we pull the right shoulder back, allowing the whole torso to twist to the right as we twist and look over right shoulder. Take another one. All right, unfurl. Now bend the knee. So it's sitting pigeon. Just watch for this shape where we're rounding it onto spine. We want to make sure we stay on the sitting bones. If it's all good, left hand shoots the gap there, and you come to the outside of the right shin. That's a beautiful place to just lift and pull up, expanding in the chest, and you'll feel this in the left hip. It's really nice. Now, if that doesn't happen for you, go ahead and extend the leg longer. And from here, just hug underneath the leg. That should still give you the ability to shift the pelvis from this rounded shape, into a nice long shape. Now let's take a twist here, wherever you are. So we'll release the left hand, just hug and hold the foot and twist to the right. Last week we did baby grasshopper, and I commented that I think the adult grasshopper is easier. But after having practiced it this weekend, I'm not sure that that's true. So let's try it. Let's look to the right. Maybe that's where you're going to stay. If you're moving on, elbow into the foot and twist, being mindful again of the collarbone. Next position, we start to walk up the arm, eventually getting into the armpit. So maybe you go to the tricep and twist. And that may be good enough. If you're moving on, again, I don't recommend blocks for lifting in this one. I think for me it's too precarious, but if you've done it before, you're welcome to. Otherwise, we're moving on without them, and we take the foot pretty close to the armpit. Hands on the floor already. Allow the right hand to come down too. Now this lift up, you've got to have this connection before you lift up. So if you don't have that connection, stay as you are and we'll keep working on it. Otherwise, we lift up, hands are in chaturanga, push down and extend. I stick by my thought that that's easier than the baby grasshopper. All right, wherever you are, come on down, shake the legs out. All right, find it in your belly right now to move right into boat pose. Lift it up, a nice high boat pose, and find softness in the breath, even in this place that your body may be perceiving as chaos. As long as you're safe in it, it's okay, just breathe. Come down, if you have your blocks, get them close by, cross your ankles, lift anything you can, maybe even scoop between and come right back, and we'll take a little lower boat pose. Still finding your deep breath, in and out, in and out. One more. Blocks again, cross the ankles, lift whatever you can, maybe do the little twisty thing underneath, and come back for pure abdominal boat pose. We lay all the way down, lift the feet and shoulders up just a tiny bit. So you've taken the hip flexors out here using just abdominal work. Find it, breathe it. Last one. Forget the blocks, scoop yourself up, cross your ankles, step or hop it back, lower chaturanga, inhale, up dog, maybe down dog, maybe a cobra, and we all meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. All right, let's get ready for the animal flow, left side. So work with me on it. Ready? Left leg lifts, knee comes forward, we cross under the body, everything pivots to the right, extend, lower the left hip, come back up, knee to nose, one-legged dog. Again, forward, pivot right, extend, lower hip, come back, knee to nose, one-legged dog. Last one, knee to nose, pivot right, extend, come on back, knee to nose, we hover, 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 plant the foot, warrior one. Inhale, lift up. So readjust, we want to take advantage of a traditional pose here and really tweak it. So we tweak it by pulling left hip crease back, establishing knee over ankle, and one day coming into a place where the left thigh is parallel to the floor. Arms lift, we pop the palms behind us, a nice deep breath, sense of softness in the upper body, because the lower body is connecting and grounding to give us this kind of movement in the upper body. Last one. And lift up straight legs, preparation, revolve triangle. Left hand at the hip, right arm lifts, either coming to block inside or outside, maybe shin, wherever it's good for your body. We find a place of evenness in the hips, lifting the left arm, if that's okay, left. We take the vision to the left hands for our drishti. Now find that twisting to the left, your first real twist in this little sequence that we're doing. So we make sure that it's the entire torso that's twisting, not just the shoulders. Last breath like that. Now, if you did have your right hand on a block, let's release that, and that might require bent legs. So we're gonna have a firm, established grounding spot for our hand for the split leg side plank. Once you get there, pivot toes to the left, walk left leg away, arm over ear, and we do our little flow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend across and lower. Inhale, up. Good kitty. Exhale, down. And one more, take it up. Nice big stretch. And lower down, coming into Ardha Matsyendrasana. Making sure the left hip comes down, snuggling in. Nice big pull of the knee so that we can use this connection here, hands to the leg, to find a flatter spine. Inhale. As you exhale, twisting left. Looking over the left shoulder, maybe binding today. Or if you're moving into the Kundalini variation, it would look like this. We're already in our kneeling position. We're already nice and twisty. So technically, I would just use this right arm, and it's that snuggling up, and I'd come up and find my little balance place, right? But if you're new to it, take advantage of being twisted out. So we've been twisting, and we're in a good place to practice this. So you come to a kneeling place on the right leg where you already are. Right elbow to the knee, left elbow to the hip. And don't worry, if this happens with your hand, it's okay. We're very supported with both hands on the floor. Look to your right, so it's as if your left ear, we're gonna come down to the floor. Don't worry about the legs, just leave them as they are. That's your practice for that. Let's come back, take one more breath, and release, moving the legs into Gomukhasana. Again, think about establishing the left hip on the floor. So once this happens and lifts up, and sometimes we might do something like that, but in this case, we want to be very stable. Once this lifts up, you lose the stability, and we need to have that, all right? Big inhale here. As you exhale, start your hinge forward. Using the floor to help resist a little bit so we don't just plow forward and let the left hip come up. Perfect place to hang out. Have your block handy if you think you need it for your twist. So again, I know some of you out there, and I know that you would like to take the bind, which is, oh, where's that foot? To the big toe, but I'm not going to take it with that hip up there. So if that's happening, and really for me today, this doesn't feel good, but if you're doing it, you're going to keep that and come into your twist. But for me today, I'm going to let it go. I'll keep my hand behind me so that I can encourage the left shoulder back. Then I come into the twist. Hand can be on the block like this, palm facing up. And I want to think of twisting the torso, not just the shoulder. So finding what's good for you, finding a place where you can still breathe. One more. Beautiful. And let it go. Come back up, hinge back a little bit. Agni Stambhasana, maybe block underneath that left knee, maybe half lotus or easy sitting. But find the place that's good for you. Big inhale, lift, both sitting bones on the floor. Big exhale, hinge. All right, ready for our twist? So walking off to the left, maybe we just take the elbow, maybe you're resting on the block, and you just sit like this. Elbow to knee and hang out like this if you can. Prayer twist. The beautiful thing about the prayer twist, and you want to be a little bit mindful, is the pressure of the hands together can actually push the left knee down and in turn the left hip. As we look to the left, one more. Come on back to center, release hands back, reverse table. Just lift it up. We're working that left glute so the right leg extends. No bent arms, parallel thighs, 8 dips. We lower and lift. Lower and lift. That's 2, 3, lower and lift, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We want to lift and lengthen, really stretch it out. Come all the way down to the floor. Extend left leg, shake it out. Pull the toes back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hinge forward. This time, take the sides of your feet and pull the pinky toes back so we can get this kind of flat line at the bottom of the feet. Wherever you are, if you're not pulling the feet, maybe you're holding here. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, hinge forward. Just stretch the back of the legs. Keep the belly strong. Taking one more. Coming back up, and we return to our table. So I know from doing this all weekend that for me on this side, I have a harder time. I notice right when I lift my right hand, that whole left side doesn't feel good. So I'm going to pay a lot of attention to my left shoulder as I lift up. So we're still twisting left, remember. Extend the left leg long. Now see, is it okay to lift the right arm? And if it is, go ahead, cup the head, and start thinking of your twist to the left. Don't let that left hip drop. Lift up, twist, twist, and lower down. Leave the right leg as it is. Hug in. Pull back with the left toes. Lift up. Now twist to the left, outside of the left foot, and look over left shoulder. Extend the left arm long. Think of this as dancing Shiva in the sitting position, which is a great practice for standing. Go ahead, lift the leg up, or maybe today you're lifting the knee. And if it's easy, we let go, but keep the twist. And notice I'm a good example of just the shoulder coming back. That's no good. I want the whole torso to twist to the left. Beautiful. And then release. Coming all the way down. All right, right leg drops open. Janu Shirshasana. Inhale for lift. Slight shift to the left. Exhale, hinge. Work with your breath. Each inhale guiding you as to whether or not you should deepen the pose or back it out. So if we do this enough here, we start to learn to listen and recognize messages off the mat so that we can take those 4 steps and recognize when we're in a place of goodness and wholesome kind of place states and that good compassion and kindness. And we keep that. And if we start to notice the opposite, we eliminate them. All right, come on back up. Let's go ahead and cross the right ankle. Big lift here. Exhale, hinge. And then we start our twist to the left. Working off to the left side. Maybe elbow. Maybe you're twisting down like this. Find the place that works for you. And releasing back to center. Bend the knee. We work into that little sitting pigeon pose. So same thing. We just shoot the gap. Lift up. Open up. Flat back. If you're finding a hard time getting that flat back, then lengthen the left leg. Come underneath the thigh instead and see if that gave you a little more movement in your pelvis. All right, either one is good. Big lift. Okay, so here we start our twisting to the left, trying to make our way into grasshopper or not. So maybe you don't ever want to do grasshopper. You're still reaping lots of benefit here by staying in this pose and adding the twist. We'll start with the hand, just twisting open. That feels good. Again, I'm watching for this shoulder and not the torso. I want to move the whole torso and pay attention to the left hip. If the whole body starts to move like that, you've got to even out that left hip and twist from the torso. Now elbow. Maybe tricep. And now if you're starting to think about going a little bit deeper in this pose, what's important is the foot-arm connection. So I'm gonna move way into my armpit. And I know that I've done this all weekend and many times before that, but I have that kind of connection there, okay? So I feel pretty stable. If you're close to that, feel free to go on. The next position would be hands come to chaturanga. Again, I've got that stability. So when I come up, it doesn't slide right off. I'm still using the weight of my body resting on my right arm. but technically we should be able to lift up out of that. All right, let's let it go. Come forward, shake it out. Great job, friends. I am sure I can't really see you, but I can imagine. All right, let's give our hips some love here. Extending the legs long on the mat, roll onto the right side. So I'm on my right hip. Walk hands to Sphinx arms. This is important. In Sphinx arms, take the left leg behind you. Stay very active in the toes. All right, so here's how I look. Now I know if I lower a little more, I can find a better place for my back. So maybe for me today, I might rest right here. Just folding the hands into a little pillow and resting. The idea is to keep this top leg, the left leg, very active, toes pointing down. So hanging out here. If you do want to go into a little deeper pose, first of all, you can adjust the bottom leg to the place that's correct for your body. But we keep this internal rotation in the left thigh. Now, if you want to go a little deeper, you come up a little higher, needle the left arm under, and we roll onto the left shoulder. I'll spin around so you can see that from the other side. So I'm on my right hip, left thigh is very engaged, and left foot's going to keep me active by keeping the toes under. Rolling the left shoulder under, look underneath the right armpit. That's a perfect place to just hang out. Or as I said before, maybe Sphinx pose or all the way down. The lower you are on the floor, the more your back can relax in the lowest part of the back. So go inside, find a place to breathe, moving in and out accordingly. So one of the Buddha's disciples, his name's Sona, and he was having a terrible crisis in his life. And he had tried meditating so hard. He was walking, meditating, and sitting, meditating. And he was walking barefoot, of course. And he walked so much in his meditation that his poor little feet started bleeding. And he was just about to give up. He said, this obviously is not for me. I can't let go of my ego, no matter how hard I try. And the Buddha read his mind and knew that something was awry, and was aware that he was about to lose the venerable Sona. I'll finish that story in just a moment. So from here, let's start to make our way out. So if you were twisted, we unfurl ourselves. Now everybody come up. We'll keep that left leg strong, but narrow the gap a little bit. And think of a standing position with your feet. Draw the right hand towards the hip, push down the lift up, and expand everything in your body. Just open, open, open. And come on back, and we find that same seated position for the second side. So legs are together, nice and long. Roll onto the left side. Really find the hip, so make sure you're not looking up at all. You're perfectly on the left side. Send the right leg back, tuck the toes under. So that action is going to keep the right thigh internally rotated. If Sphinx arms start to pinch your back, right away you know that's it for you, and you come down, making a little pillow with your hands, and rest right here. Always feel free to adjust the left leg into the place that's best for you. If you're moving on, we come up a little bit, needle the right arm under, and roll onto the right shoulder. It might look like this, looking underneath left armpit. Again, we move into this place where we can find a sense of comfort. All right, so at this point, the Buddha knows that Sona is really suffering. So he goes up to him and he says, before you took on the oath of poverty to become a monk, were you not a very good lute player? And Sona said, yes, Buddha, I was very good. So the Buddha asked him about stringing the lute. He said, well, when you used to string the lute, if you strung the strings too tight, did it sound good? And Sona said, no, it sounded horrible. It was screechy and just awful. And then the Buddha said, and if you strung the strings too loose? And he said, no, it was horrible, just an awful sound. He said, what happened when you strung the strings perfectly on your lute? And Sona said it was the most beautiful music you've ever heard. It was perfect. And so the Buddha told him, that's what you need to do with your meditation. You want to have this kind of non-resistance effort, if you will. So we fall into viveka, keen discernment. We have to decide by practicing a lot. What is the truth? And sometimes you can't tell, and sometimes in the physical sense, you do get injured, unfortunately, and I don't want that to happen. But as you practice more and more, you start to find that perfect spot, the Goldilocks spot. And so the story ends with Sona realizing this and said that he became liberated and enlightened after that. All right, let's make our way back up. So as you come back up, let the feet come a little closer together. Find your feet moving into standing position. So the soles of the feet coming to the floor, left hand towards the hip. Big inhale, lift up and just open up. Feel super stretchy and good here. And then make your way back down, scooching yourself forward onto your back. Let's work into the spine just a little bit. We have just enough time to do some back exercises. We'll start in Cobra pose, taking the hands right underneath the shoulders. Now let your toenails touch the floor as you come up just enough. So again, it's just enough, not super high, because if I'm super high when I go into Cobra test, I'm gonna face plant. If I'm super low, I reach no benefit, I'm sluggish. So coming to that middle place where I know I can let go, keeping the toenails touching the floor. See if you can lift a little tiny bit more. Come back down, release the hands to that pillow position, excuse me, and drop your third eye down. Now rest, breathe. Make your way back up. And this time we take the arms out like airplane wings, lift the legs up. Now roll the shoulders up. Imagine you have a mirror, or maybe you do, and lift. So we try to get shoulders and feet in the same line. Again, it's a seesaw, and you're gonna have to go back and forth. And without a teacher or a mirror to guide you, your guess is as good as mine. So play with it. Probably the side that feels more difficult needs to come up higher. And release, switching hands to create your pillow, resting the third eye, and finding deep breath. Okay, coming back down, extend both arms long, legs are already long, and we just start to paddle opposite leg, opposite arm, lifting the chest up. Keep the legs nice and high. Now come to holding, touch down with the left hand, bend the left knee, reach around with the right arm. So we're still lifting the right leg, and just kick. Find this sense of kicking up. Come back, we leave that left leg lifted, but we switch. Right hand to the floor, bend the right knee, reach around, leave the left leg lifted, kick up, and lower back down, creating pillow, resting third eye. Breathing in and out. One more. Now while you're still resting, walk your feet a little closer, knees come to almost touching, if not, Dhanurasana. So we start like that because the knees tend to splay out. So we do want to have active glutes here, but if you overactivate the glutes, it creates this external rotation, all right? So find that middle path again. Squeeze in, ankles to hands, kick up. If you're not touching, that's okay. Your arms are by your side. You're working harder. Finding that nice even space, rolling onto the belly maybe a little bit more. Kick up, lift the chest, and release. Let it all go. Find your soft breath. And then roll yourself into a child's pose. This time we'll take the arms around us, head towards the floor, going inside. And for just a moment, go over the 4 steps of our path of wise effort. And those are, first, to notice the wholesome states in the mind. So that would be peace, love, compassion, etc. And maintain these. Secondly, we notice the absence of those and we cultivate them, we call them in. We want to have excuse me, have them be part of us. Thirdly, we notice the absence of unwholesome states. For instance, we notice when we're not angry, when we're not greedy, when we're not resentful, and we keep those out. We try to maintain that status. And then last, we notice the presence of these unwholesome states. So we notice when we are feeling anger, resentment, jealousy, pride, envy, and we try to eliminate them. All right, from child's pose, just roll over onto your spine, finding a nice short Shavasana, moving into a place where you can let go of the breath, just be a minute or two. Let go of the muscular energy. And I know at this point, we're all thinking of our to-do list, all of the things we have to jump up and do right after this class. So just see for the next minute if you can even let that go. As those thoughts come in, try to eliminate them if they seem at all greedy of your Shavasana. Keep them at bay and call in a sense of quiet mindfulness. Start to bring back in some awareness by breathing deeper. If you were falling asleep, just stay there. Let your body have that sleep. Otherwise, we come up to a seated place. Breathing deeply. Drawing the hands to the heart. And thinking of all goodness for all beings today and how you can be a part of that. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining in this morning. It's just so wonderful to be able to reach out through the internet and be able to communicate with you all. I miss you in person though, and I can't wait to see you all. Be safe today. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. See you either tomorrow at 10 or Thursday at 7. Thanks again.
Thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Rosie. Have a good day, everybody.
You too, Joanne. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rosie.
Thank you, Suzanne.
That was a wow.
That was a wow. We always start off with a wow on Tuesday. Hey, Stacy,
Rosie.
thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
So nice to see you all.
Namaste.
Love you all. Thank you. Bye.
Good to see you. Love you guys.
Hi, Rosie. I missed you this morning.
Tracy,
It's late.
it's okay. Joanne filled in for you. It's all right.
Perfect.
Thanks,
Bye.
honey. I like your beard. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.